Imagine you are approached by law enforcement and they ask to search your property or vehicle. In that moment, do you truly feel free to say no, or is there a subtle pressure that makes you feel like compliance is your only option? It is a critical question because your answer affects your legal rights. Yes, absolutely. Coercion can indeed invalidate your consent to a police search. If your consent was not freely and voluntarily given, then legally, it is as if you never consented at all, potentially rendering any search unlawful. The legal foundation for this lies in the Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution, which protects people from unreasonable searches and seizures. For a consent search to be valid, it must be the result of a truly voluntary choice, not submission to authority or duress. Coercion occurs when officers use threats, intimidation, or deceptive tactics that would make a reasonable person feel they have no option but to agree, overriding their free will. This means the police cannot imply that you will face worse consequences if you refuse, or manipulate you into believing consent is mandatory. If you find yourself in a situation where you feel pressured to consent, it is important to clearly state, "I do not consent to this search." Do this verbally, and if possible, in writing or by making a mental note of the time and location. You always have the right to refuse a search without a warrant or probable cause, and asserting that right calmly but firmly is crucial. Afterwards, document everything you remember about the interaction and contact a qualified attorney as soon as possible to discuss your experience. Courts examine the totality of the circumstances when deciding if consent was truly voluntary or coerced. This comprehensive review considers factors like the location of the interaction, whether you were in custody, the presence of multiple officers, the use of weapons, and your age, education, and mental state. It is not just about what the officer said, but how you perceived the situation and whether that perception was reasonable given the pressure. This nuanced evaluation is why having an experienced attorney is so vital, as they can highlight these subtle elements in your favor. Understanding that your consent must be genuine and uncoerced is a powerful protection of your constitutional rights. Knowing you can clearly refuse a search and that any pressure applied by officers can undermine their legal authority empowers you to stand firm. If you ever feel your consent was not truly voluntary, remember to seek legal counsel promptly, as they can help challenge the legality of any evidence obtained under duress and ensure your rights are fully upheld.